Before I start, I want to make an announcement that just because I've been asked a couple of times, I just want to make an announcement that my one on ones will be back in about 2 weeks' time. And I'm actually looking forward to them. I'm excited because, it gives me a chance to really get to know my viewers, get to know my audience as individuals, and, hear out what you guys are struggling with and what you need help with. And really, relate to your stories and bring solutions to common problems that people are experiencing. So, if you ever have issues meditating or experiencing social anxiety or having just confusion about life, I mean, you can always send me a message. Yes, that's awesome, and I'll reply to you. But booking a call with me would be great. Being face to face. You get me for 30 minutes, and it's free. I'm going to have it free for the first 2 weeks, and we can talk things through and really get to the bottom of whatever you're dealing with. So, in this video, I want to talk about spiritual awakening and just the magnitude of experiencing spiritual awakenings. And it's not like you experience one and then you're done. Like you experience a spiritual awakening, and then you go back and hop on your couch, and it's like that's it. You're enlightened or something. That's not the case. Spiritual awakenings come in different magnitudes. I've had so many, especially the past year. In fact, when the pandemic first started, that's really when I started having a slew of spiritual awakenings. And as I was just, reading more and reflecting more, like I was just away from a lot of people, for a given time period. And it gave me a chance to just reflect within myself and just have so many aha moments that it's insane. And the way I started viewing the world changed so much. And it got to a point where I was slightly arrogant about it. And I mean, I use arrogant slightly kind of loosely. It's not like I was bragging about it. No. In my head, I was like, how aren't people seeing what I'm seeing? How aren't people seeing, how seeing their low consciousness behaviors? How are people not seeing how they self-sabotage themselves? How are people not seeing the way in which they judge and bring hate? How are people not seeing that the karma they bring into their lives, right? And I came to another realization that I was really in my experience, right? Like I was projecting my spiritual experience onto the common person. Now, I don't say this in an elitist fashion because everyone's on their own journey of understanding. But when you have spiritual awakenings and you're growing and you're becoming a different person, like me right now, I'm completely different from how I was, just a year ago. But it's a common thing where, I mean, you even ask people in the spiritual community, it's very common if you don't catch it for your ego to come in and then say, oh, how do they not know this? Oh, how is this person being manipulated in this certain way, and things like that, this, that, and the third. So I kind of want to backtrack now. I want to talk about what is a spiritual awakening exactly, because you hear it a lot. Spiritual awakenings are really when you kind of take a step back outside of the ego, and you're able to come to realizations that may break apart your attachments. They may break apart who you think you are, and they may break apart how you see the world. And a lot of times it can be slightly scary, depending on the size of the awakening, because you feel as though you wish you knew this sooner, or you wish, like, what does this mean for my life? Like, who am I going to become by knowing this certain thing? And it can come with a wave of emotions. And as we change as people, as our mindsets change, our actions begin to change. And what happens when our actions begin to change? We're doing different things, and we're getting different results. And what happens when we get different results is we get our results, and then maybe people we were friends with, or people we know, or people we're used to being around get their results. And if it starts to branch out and branch apart, that's uncomfortable, because you're used to a certain thing with this person, but you've grown apart. because you kind of went down this path of maybe betterment, spiritual liberty, and things like that. And in spiritual awakenings, you can find a degree of contentment with just the little things, because you understand that it's the little things that are just fine, right? We're very bombarded with dopamine triggering things. Um, Internet, social media, video games, drugs, like we're just inundated with all this stuff. But when you can appreciate the smaller things, the simpler things, like just sitting down and meditating, and then you start to appreciate little things like birds communicating, it's insane. And there's a degree of connection that spiritual awakenings bring, like the way you see how animals communicate, and you can see how they are out for survival. They're protecting themselves. They're doing all these types of things, and I'm like, I'm doing just that, but I'm a human animal, and my species just happens to be at the top of the food chain, right? So this bird and I, this rabbit and I, are both trying to survive, but because because my species is at the top of the food chain, we've pretty much priced ourselves out of the game so well that I don't even need to hunt that animal down in order to eat them, right? I can literally go to my fellow human's grocery store, give him some pieces of paper in my pocket, and then he hands over whatever food I need. I didn't have to hunt it. You see, we are playing our own game here. You know, resources, money, pieces of paper that we add value to, that we value in society. You know, we used to have barter systems, but we don't have that anymore, where we trade. I trade my fan for your shoe, or I give you 10, 10 goats for your daughter, or something like that. But yeah, like when you have these awakenings and you have these aha moments, whether it's from maybe watching my videos or just contemplating things and inquiring about life, it brings a new side of you, and it can also bring a degree of dissociation, which I really noticed in my couple spiritual awakenings. Dissociation is kind of when you're just not identified with the world as much as you used to be, not as identified with certain things that have been normalized. So when you spend time alone and you come back into society, maybe you go out with friends, maybe you have a conversation with certain people, and then certain things that they've normalized through, you know, normalization, things that people do consistently, things they normalize, you're like, that's ridiculous, or that's stupid, or that doesn't even make any sense. And then this is where the projection starts to happen, where you assume that people have awakened like you have. And this is where spiritual ego comes into play. I'm going to talk more about this at a different time, but spiritual ego is when your ego hijacks these spiritual breakthroughs that you had, and it becomes a character, right? It becomes, this is my new character. Like, for example, if, like, let's say my channel starts really, you know, I'm pretty sure it will. But let's say my channel really grows, right? Like, gets big. As it gets big, it's gonna become easier and easier for my ego to come in and say, "Oh, Jeremy, look at these numbers. Look at these subscribers. Oh my God, we're at 50K. Oh, we're at 70K. Oh, we're at 100K. Yeah, like I'm the man. I'm the spiritual guru. I'm the psychological. I know a lot about psychology. I know everything." And then it can be easy for me to wear this as a character, right? Ironically, wear it as a character, rather than understanding that, hey, I'm just sharing information with people, and, you know, am I going to be able to turn this into a sort of business? Absolutely. But is it my identity? Is it who I ultimately am? Absolutely not. Because the ego can be created and crafted. This body was given to me. This mind was given to me, and I can use the mind and the body to serve my purposes in life. But they're not me. You know, I was put here as a spiritual vessel, a soul, right? And whatever happens after death occurs, you know, energetically I go somewhere else. And this is really something I've been looking more into, things like non-duality. which I'm not going to make a video on soon because I'm still studying it, and I don't like making videos on things that I don't have like I don't know like the back of my hand. So that's gonna come in the future. Anyways, I just want to make this quick video on spiritual awakenings, its implications, and just understanding and avoiding projections you may have as you come to certain truths about life. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe. Be on the lookout for my free one-on-one consultations in the next couple of weeks. I'm really looking forward to speaking with you guys. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.